All right, lights, camera, action. Welcome back, blade fans. I have a real special knife for you today from a very special knife maker and brand. As you can see by the sticker here, this is a TKell knife, Tim Kell, out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. And he makes some really nice purpose-driven blades. This was provided by Tim for review. So no, this was not a purchase, so I'll be transparent about that. I will give you my honest opinion on it and try to hit all of the salient points, because in order to talk about TKell Knives, you really have to read up on all of the information he provides you on his site. He's talking about the steel, which is 1095. He's talking about the coating, which is nickel boron, very specialized coating. He's talking about that sheath with a multi-clip on it, and so many other aspects of this knife, the special tempering, the triple tempering that goes into the blade, the grips, the special lashing bolts that he developed that are appearing for the first time on this knife. And this is the Mercenary, okay? And real quick, what the Mercenary is, and we're going to get into handling it and showing it off in just a moment, but you know, there's so much information here, and I printed this off from his webpage. I mean, I've got about 5-6 pages worth of info here, and it would take me an hour, 2 hours to really cover it all, so I will link you to Tim's site. But the Mercenary, according to Tim's webpage, is the latest in the TKell lineup. We drew from our experience making world-class blades, took your input, and created a blade that is beyond any found elsewhere. Starting with the Mercenary and moving into all our products is the addition of our heat treatment process that makes the 1095 steel perform light years beyond what has been previously done in the industry. It's a 5.5 inch long blade that is 1.37 inches wide. And the other dimensions that we have here, I'm going to read off to you, and we're going to put them up on the screen. It's 10.75 inches overall. It is 0.165 inches thick of 1095 high carbon steel that is treated to an HRC of 57 using an exclusive post-processing for extreme durability. There is a integral glass breaker on the hilt and a multi-clip included. So I may forego the usual tape measure, micrometer, and scale, so that other than maybe the scale, because I don't think the weight was given there, so we may pop the scale out to just give you the weight of this knife. But here's the nickel boron finish, and that accounts for this interesting cloud pattern on the surface. This is almost feels oily, but yet there is no oil there. It is a 70 HRC Rockwell hardness of that finish. And here we have a handle that is slim and yet comfortable. It is this one is in the grenade finish, or grenade type grips, not finish. It looks very cool with those scalloped out areas, but they also provide a great deal of grip. It's a spear point blade with a drop point and a swedge at the top. And there is the glass breaker on the pommel right there, kind of a V-shaped defined glass breaker. It's a full tang knife. And we've got some excellent jimping right here that is deeply cut and yet not sharp to your thumb. Fantastic full choil for your finger that serves double purpose as both a sharpening choil and a finger choil so you can choke up and get a really, let me back out a little bit, get a really positive grip on that knife. I said we'd weigh it, and I'm going to get to the sheath in a moment. Well, let's find out what the blade weighs by itself. And we're at almost 9 ounces, 8.922 on my scale. I'll include that figure in the specs that you've seen already on the screen. It's designed to be, by the name Mercenary, it's designed to be a battle blade. It's designed for out in the woods EDC. If you're a civilian, it's designed for something on the tactical vest or belt, for law enforcement, military, what have you. It is meant to be a rugged blade, and I'm told this grip will work well with or without gloves. Obviously I'm not wearing any gloves right now, but I did try it out, and there's plenty of room here for use with gloves. But I got to tell you, you can't really see it in the video, but this finish is so slick. And I believe I showed you this on the Guardian, which was the other TKell knife that I reviewed. And I think I have that available for comparison, so we'll bring that out in a few as well. Good size blade, but it's not oversized. To give you a comparison, here I have a Fox Ryu that was designed by Ken Vahikate, and it's roughly the same size overall, maybe just a little bit longer. It's the only other blade I had handy that sort of is in the same category and classification. It is, however, missing that full-size choil, which it would be really nice if it had it. However, you got finger grooves here. They work well. And also a really nice blade that I can recommend. Let's take a look at the sheath. And there's some special features to the sheath. I'm going to take the sheath out alone. Here you can see a clip that can be used for either clipping to a molly, can be used to clipping to your belt. And what he's done here is there's kind of this riser attachment that has been 3D printed, apparently, near as I can tell by looking at the lines. It is a 3D printed piece of plastic material. Attached to it with 2 screws is the clip. That clip can be changed in position up and down. You can move the base for this over to the other side. Of course, you could always attach your own style clip because you've got lots of slots. Tim also mentioned that he trimmed down the sheath so that you have the least amount of material possible, and I can see that that is the case. We've got grommets all the way around, and we've got slots. So any kind of attachment hardware you wanted to use. And Tim also makes horizontal belt setup for this, many other mounts. When you go out to his site, you probably can spend at least a few hours there looking around at all the different models and so forth. I mean, they put a lot of work into that web page, I must say. Now, what do you get? Well, these came, I think he gave me an extra set. I can't say you're going to get 2 sets of grip with the knives. That is the grenade grip, and these are the plain flat grips that may very well be standard for the knife. But you can see, there they are, and nice countersunk holes that receive the lashing bolts. And you also get this. And this is kind of neat. You don't see this too often. Here is a keyring tool with the hex on there. I'm not sure of the size, but it's a 1/4 inch shank. You basically loosen this and can remove that. I'm not going to take it all the way out. But there, that goes in your keyring. There is what I believe is probably a 1/4 inch hole for your screwdriver, for your wrench, whatever you happen to want to attach it to. But there is on one side, here is the hex, so that fits right in there. You remove it out of that side, and there's a receiving piece, a female piece on the other side. I believe I have some spares that Tim had sent along. And there, this is what they look like for demo. So this is his lashing bolt right there, and that's how they fit together. Looks like that. You have a hole in the middle, so you can lash, probably because of that. These are kind of like a shoelace deal, so I'm not going to get it stuck in there. That's a little bit thick for the hole, but you get the idea. You can see straight through, so you can put your lanyard on the end. You can use these others to lash it to a pole. Talk about a survival situation, make a spear, what have you. You could even remove these bolts altogether and lash the naked blade to a stick or a staff or what have you. Use it for jabbing into the water, to spear fish, to as a weapon, what have you. I won't get into all of the possibilities there. So the nickel boron is, as I mentioned, very hard, 70 Rockwell. The blade itself is 57 Rockwell. He also uses a very special sharpening system to put the edge on these knives, and that is a sharpener developed from a material that's nearly as hard as diamond, produces no heat, no spark, and turns at a very low speed to keep everything nice and cool. The sharpening system is a huge part of the reason that we can offer the nickel boron blade coating that no one else has been able to do. So that much is interesting as well. Lots of goodies that came with this, and here's the box. Now, I have never seen a box like this before. Basically, it's an adjustable one. It's got foam on both ends inside, which means that he can put any knife that you happen to order in this box, as it would appear. There you go. It kind of accordions open and closed and protects the knife. So that is very cool. What else can we talk about here? I'm getting a little bit long. The sheath is made from a very thick material. When you put the knife in the sheath, which I haven't done yet, fit is very nice. There is the tiniest bit of rattle, but hardly anything. Here's your adjustment for tension, which is a really cool feature. You've got this knurled bolt here, which will tighten or loosen the amount of tension on the handle. He also gives you this jimped ramp so that you don't need to yank the blade out to get it off. You can simply thumb it off. And if you don't like the tension there, you just tighten that bolt up. Lots of thought, lots of consideration have gone into the design of not only the knife, but everything that surrounds it. The bolts, the sheath, the edge, etc., etc. Let's talk about that edge. Is that edge sharp? Well, Crazy sharp. Well, that's somebody else's channel, isn't it? Oh man, I mean, for a large knife, look at that edge. Pretty much get close to a mirror finish right from Tim's shop. That thing cuts like some fine edge pocket knives that I've had, folders. And yet you're talking about a substantial amount of meat to the blade there. Here's another TKell knife. This is the Guardian. Did a review on this a couple months back. Now this is more of a hideout personal defense knife with 3 sharpened edges, but that same finish. And apparently they're applying it a little differently, which is how you now see that cloud sort of pattern on it. But same nickel boron finish on both of these blades, very slick. And that aids in the cutting too. So not only is that edge slicing through, but once the material touches the surface here, it's very slippery. I mean, if you hold it like this and you release just a little bit, you can feel that slide right out of your hand. I mean, it truly feels as though it's oiled. Here is an example on the Guardian of the horizontal scout type carry clip, which you can get with the Mercenary as well. Another idea of how it holds. Point up, no problem. Point down, no problem. Glass breaker, that can be used if you're holding it in reverse grip for reverse strikes. The balance is very nice. Let's see where the balance is on this. Right there. Perfect. Right at the start of the handle. Excellent. We got meat right out to the tip very nicely. And that spear point blade's going to pierce. And you've got a grind high enough. Obviously you can see how sharp it is, and I can feel it with the thumb. I mean, when you've worked with enough blades and you feel how it picks up your skin there with just a touch, you know there's an edge on that. And I believe Jared Neve from Neve's Knives did a review on one of Tim's knives. Now, he's a guy that certainly knows a sharp edge and knows how to put one on a knife, and he really complimented Tim on the factory edge of this knife, I must say. Not this particular knife, but of the knives coming from TKell. Well, you know, I could go on and on and on, but if you want one more reference, here for size comparison is both the Rat 1 from Ontario, yes, they're folders, and the Reptilian from Benchmade. So just for relative size. It's large. It's not that large that it's cumbersome. It is the largest knife currently being made by TKell Knives. And I like it. I don't like a cramped handle. I like a little bit extra. So many ways you can use this blade. You've got a flat here for batoning, should you want to do that. You've got the swedge for the penetration. Really good, durable outdoor knife. I would imagine that could even be a hunting companion, although it may not take the place of your favorite skinner. Well, as always, let me know if you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And get out there and check out TKell Knives webpage. Again, I'll drop you the link as well as the link to the Mercenary here. Take care. We'll be back soon.